I'm so grateful that you're willing to share a bit of your story and what RTT and Rapid Transformational Therapy will do for you, so people can actually be able to follow. So Mayela is my web designer, and she's done an amazing job. So we said, okay, let's do this together, because you also got interested in RTT when you saw the work that I'm doing. How would you describe yourself and where you have come already and what you're hoping for the future?
Yes, I come from a very rough country. Venezuela is a place where you learn to make the most out of your life. I don't know how many people in the world are familiar with my country, and we don't have to get into details about it. But it's like a life. It's like a school for life, because we learn to live and to survive with so little, and we learn to smile with, like, even in the worst moments. And I grew up with this mentality that getting sick is a luxury, or having an accident or whatever. So I never really, I was never insured in my life. I'm not even insured right now, to be honest. And so I grew up with this mentality, and yes, I have lived in like 5-6 different countries, but I have created a lot of instability. So yes, I have been able to travel a lot, but like a hippie.
You're a perfect example of somebody who I think so many men and women out there can really relate to. And so what I really got from you is that it is that gap. So it is that gap from where you are today and where you want to be. And you felt, like you told me, you felt that you were kind of destroying things for yourself, that opportunities came along, but you kept destroying it. And in the RT session, for me, that was fascinating. And that is what I see with so many people, that we have patterns. It's not just in one area, but we have patterns. So in the session, were you surprised what came up, that things that happened when you were such a small girl? Were you surprised, or how did you feel?
The lesson is about trust. And this is what came up in our session. Trust. That I never felt I could trust myself or life. So yeah, that was what came up for me in the session. This pattern that life can't be better for me, and it applied in all areas of my life. Like right now I'm heavily focusing on finances, but it also comes to guys, and it also applies to friends. And then after the session, which we had last Friday, on Sunday I just decided I would go and see 2 of my best friends in another city, like an hour from here. I actually didn't know that I was so loved and so cared for and so supported. And probably if I hadn't done that,
you felt, was that a shift that you felt, that you kind of realized more how loved you were, or what?
The shift was more about letting go, and letting go, and like trusting more, and being not proactive is not the word, because being proactive is good. Like being proactive is great, but it's just about taking inspired action and not just doing things from the head. So now everything that I'm doing, I just want to do it from an inspired place. Like the other day on Saturday, a friend of mine, he had bought like a couple of hours, a package, like an hour's package for a co-working space, like for internet and stuff. And he told me like, oh, I've just used maybe half an hour or 1 hour and I can give it to you. And I was like, oh, really? Okay, let's go there right now. And I knew that they don't transfer these memberships. I knew it, but I was like, I'm just going to go there and ask, even though I know that they don't do it. I go to the front desk and the guy says, no, we don't do this. These are not transferable. And I was like, are you sure about that? And then the guy was like, yes. And then my friend was like, oh, no, but maybe. I was like, no, wait a second. The owner is right there. I'm just going to go and talk to him right there. And the owner, I talked to him. And he was like, well, it's non-transferable. It's a contract. You do it here in Bali everywhere. And it's done like this everywhere in the world. Like, I was like, oh, okay. I just thought I wanted to ask. And he was like, okay, I'll give you 20 hours. And I was like, and it was just about seizing the moment, carpe diem. It was like just taking the chance, just going there and not taking no's for an, and that is probably a silly example. There are people who have bigger issues, big sicknesses, or they have lost a loved one, or but I have gone, like, if anybody is watching this, like, I have gone through so much stuff that is much bigger than this, and I have came out of it always when I have really wanted, like, and this is the thing, I always know there is a solution all the time, but I always wait until I have the last resource. I don't know why I do this to myself. And so I also noticed that it's a lack of self-love, but it's this pattern of a struggle that I grew up with, where everything had to be so difficult. So I always
be so hard. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
That's what you told me before our session. You said that even though nice opportunities present themselves, you've had a feeling, a belief that you had to go through the struggle all the time. So you couldn't choose the easy path. You had to go for the hard path. But you did mention something that I think will interest a lot of women. You said, something with guys. And isn't that something that so many women struggle with, the one thing, like, all women want love. And so what did you say was your pattern, if you wouldn't mind, like, sharing?
Yeah, I always, lately, I never actually, I didn't have this in my 20s.
Yeah.
But that was another story, and I would destroy every relationship anyways.
Yeah.
But lately, I just started feeling like really rejected and not good enough. Also because after my 30s, I started feeling like a loser, because I started looking at myself and my bank account and my family and what my family expects from me and what everybody from my age has got and what I haven't got. Because yes, I travel, but with travel and adventure, I mean, there are other things that you get from it, and sometimes the stability doesn't, if you don't really intend to work for it, it's more difficult. So I really felt rejected from guys. I never felt, and I was telling Linda, it was like a procession of guys. It was like I've been dating for the past 2 months, like really hardcore, like one after the other, literally one after the other. The point is that I was thinking, like, how is this possible that I meet so many men and I don't feel I can have any of them? I don't know if I put it right. Not that I cannot have them. I can have them, but that they take me seriously, or that they feel that I am the one.
Yeah, but like, you also said that you were kind of, because of the beliefs that you had deep inside in your subconscious, the beliefs helped you, or thought it helped you, to push the guys away. So
yes, I did.
They really didn't like you. You had to do stuff. You had to send like text messages or whatever just to push them away. You didn't even realize. No, I'm sorry, but it's so interesting, because you are such a lovely person, and I mean, so many women do this because of the feelings and the beliefs that we are not lovable or not good enough. And these are stuff that is, it's so deep in the subconscious mind that they have the root cause when we were like 2 or 3 or 4. And then they create a pattern of our whole life. And it became very clear during your session, right, that what had been going on in your life, and you kind of could put stuff together, right?
Yeah, for some reason it transmuted to my love life, because again, in my 20s, I had kind of long relationships, like 2 years, 2.5 years, and all of that. But then, since I didn't make anything stable out of my career, because I've changed from jobs so many times, I have come to the point where I was like, oh, but maybe I'm also not good enough for anybody. And so this feeling of not being good enough that came from being a child just transmuted into my love life. And I also didn't feel good enough for anything, not only as a person and career, but also for men. And the thing is, I have got, I mean, and I don't want to praise myself because this is not the point, but I have got people always telling me like, oh, you're amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so cool. Oh, like, especially like when I go to parties or I join, because I am always very like upbeat. And but I'm like, what are these people saying? Like, why are they saying this to me? And like, why do they think I am so self-confident? Me, self-confident. I'm like, I look self-confident. That doesn't mean, well, yes, no, I'm starting to be, I must say. I don't know. Again, this is the thing. I am not even saying this to prove a point. This is how I feel since last Friday. Since last Friday, I feel this is just, it's taking another course. It has the thing. It's like a plane that has shifted, and it's just going another. I'm just going another direction. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Did I answer?
Yeah, no, but that is an amazing news, and it's so true. Exactly what you say, and I can so relate to that. Because as many of you guys watching, I've been through like a huge journey myself. And that is why I'm so passionate about RTT and what it really can do, because I used to go in like talking therapy because but nobody could ever tell me like, this is what's going on. And then with RTT, we kind of nail it in 90 minutes. Like, hey, this is what's really going on. But that is the same thing. I met my husband like 9 years ago. And of course, 9 years is kind of a long time. But, you know, he is the most amazing person, like really giving me compliments all the time. Exactly as you said, the guys were giving you compliments, and your friends were saying stuff, and they were like, you look so confident, and blah, 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 blah. And my husband, he has always been telling me that I'm amazing and everything. But it was exactly like, you know, in the heart area, it didn't really go into my heart. It just stuck on the outside. You know, it was just like, yeah, he is telling me that, but my beliefs were something else. So it didn't go straight into my heart. But now, after all the RTTs that I've done for myself, it's amazing how it really, when he's complimenting me, when other people are complimenting me now, it actually goes straight into my heart, and I can believe it because my beliefs about myself and my self-worth and being enough and being lovable, it shifted so much, so you can actually let it in. So that is, I'm really glad that you're bringing it up, because so many people out there know that feeling that people compliment you, but you can't really feel it because you don't really believe it. The last time we spoke, Mayeli, you said to me like you're so excited about the future and see what it really. Can you just share that a little bit before we end this conversation? Just what are you looking forward to now, and how do you feel that your life will translate? We will keep on doing your RTT sessions and everything.
Oh my God. So I have always had this dream, and to me, it has always been like a fairy tale. And it's like something that unreachable. It has always been just like very cloudy, blurry up there. Yeah. And now I think it's this thing. It's not up there anymore. It's just coming down a bit, and it's like becoming clearer. Yeah. So I mean, I'm still unclear about many things, but what I can say is that I just feel that my life is gonna change. My life is changing already. There can be no other way. I'm gonna have my family. I'm gonna have a husband. I'm gonna have children. I said I wanted to have 3. I don't necessarily have to have 3, but it was just a number. Yeah. I can have 1, 2, or 3 or whatever. Yeah. And like an exhilarating life. To me, it's such a blessing to be here and in this world, and just not making much out of it is sad. It's like, oh, there's so much to see and so many people to meet and languages to learn and places to visit and airplanes to catch, and I have got to have 2 homes. But this has been part of my fairy tale, and like, yeah, I've got to have 2 homes, and I want to have a home here in Asia and another home where my family is, or close at least, in Panama, not in Venezuela. Yeah, and just being abundant, and then just doing something that I enjoy. And what I do so far right now, online marketing, I think this is the job that I have enjoyed the most in my entire life. I don't know if I'm going to stay there, or I'm just going to then become a consultant and then delegate the rest of the work and then move on to more creative stuff. But I think, But I think online marketing is it's something you can do so much with it. Anyhow, my creative side. Yesterday I was feeling anxious, so I was like, oh, what do I do? I just don't want to have this feeling. And so normally what I start doing is start jumping, put some music, and then start doing exercise. But it wasn't working, so I was like, okay. I started singing, and I realized that the anxiety went away. I was like, okay, I've got to have fit in my schedule like a singing time, because and not that everybody should do this. Music and singing and everything that has to do with musical notes has been part of my life, my entire life. My mom used to have awards and she used to sing, and we would always sing when I was a teenager. My sister went onto this Venezuelan Idol. Many of my aunts have been in a how do you call this, a choir. And so music is part of the family, and I never really paid attention to it. And sometimes I sing something and my friends say, hey, that voice. I'm like, what? but it's just because it just comes out. And I am like, well, if other people can hear that I actually have got a good voice, like why I don't just
and also what you're saying with the singing is actually so true. That's scientifically proven that when you sing, you confuse your brain. So what you can see in like the hardest military trainings, the guys sing, they run in the pitch black, like pouring rain with heavy rucksacks and everything. It's like so heavy for them, but they sing. So they confuse their brain. And I have a colleague of mine actually saying when she was giving birth to a child, she sang. And she said, I couldn't feel the pain. I couldn't feel anything because she was confusing her brain with the singing. Because when you sing, your brain gets confused. So your brain relates the singing to happiness. So it's an amazing thing that you do. And what I think is absolutely lovely, Millie, today, when you were talking and telling us and sharing about your vision for your future with your two homes and all of that, the travel and everything, the children. Last week, before your session, I asked you, what would you like out of life? And when you told me those things, I did sense that you really wanted them, but you weren't even sure if you could tell me those things. That was the feeling that I picked up, because you were like, yeah, I would like to have that. And just now, some days later after your session, you're talking with confidence about what you want. So already there, I can see such an amazing shift from being like, shall I even talk about what I want? Till now, you're saying, yeah, this is what I will have in my life. And it's shifting, it's happening already. So just the mindset and see in a few short days how it really shifted is amazing. Really, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it is crazy how it's all about mindset. It's just so crazy.
Yeah. And you will also have so we did a session, and it was it 4 days ago or something? Yeah, probably. So, and then you've been listening to your recording. You will keep on listening to that recording for 21 days, and then we'll do your next session and see what's come up and what we'll work on. Because of course, if you want to change like your whole life, if you have had a pattern and you want to change it all, and you want this like very, very fast transformation, we're going to do some sessions to make sure that your mindset is really shifting and is happening rapidly.
I love this.
Exactly.
I love this.
Yay!
I just love this. And this is an investment on yourself. Like it's, we all have got to have a guide. Like if you look at the best teams in the world, football teams, singers, but they all have coaches. They all have people helping them succeed. And we cannot do these things alone. Yes, some people have got like the self-confidence, but even them, they get a team of people. Like everybody needs this support. And so I'm so looking forward. I'm really happy for having Linda accompany me with this. I must say I have invested thousands of euros, not even dollars. Euros, which are a little bit more expensive than dollars in coaching and in therapy. And I never felt I have advanced. Like, I have had therapies where I have felt a little bit better, like one session or something, but I don't know. It just hasn't really taken me to the next level. And so to me, the thought that this can take me to the next level is exciting. And yes, I'm nervous too, because one part of me is like, oh, but you have failed so many times, and oh, it hasn't worked so many times, and well, I just don't want to listen to that voice.
Fantastic. No, and that's very interesting. And I didn't even know, thank you for sharing. I didn't know that you had all those different therapies before. And just the confidence that you have now, like some days later after our session, because you said that you were a bit nervous before our session. You didn't know what's going to come up. You were afraid of destroying the session. And but we worked that out very perfectly, didn't we?
I interrupted Linda in the session. I managed to do it. I was like, oh my God, she's gonna get angry. She's gonna be like, are you serious? Like, are you doing this? I'm like, but yes, I did it. And so if there are some people out there thinking that this might not work, or that they might screw up, I have done it already, and Linda took control of it. So you are in good hands.
Thank you so much. And we will continue on this talk like next week. And next week we will have it more like, because today was more like an introduction, and so people can really get to understand who you are, Mieli, and where you are starting, so people can really follow your journey. So next week when we have this conversation, it will be so interesting, because people will see a shift, you will feel a shift. And also we will bring out more questions and everything that you have that come along on your journey. And so please write everything down that comes to your mind, so you will remember to ask next week.
Perfect. Yes, I will.
Thank you so much, Mieli, and speak to you very soon.
Thanks.
Bye for now.
Bye. Bye.